I do not know where to start this video. I have no idea how to accurately describe this game in video form. I promise you, it is easier than it looks to follow the chaos happening on screen as you're playing the game. But as you're watching it, it looks like visual diarrhea. This game is a bizarre combination of different genres, atmosphere, story, tone. I can't tell if it's self-aware or if it thinks being an angsty 15-year-old is actually that cool. I don't know what's going on, yet I can't stop playing it. It even has a Half-Life level that one-ups Crack Life somehow. I am holding Dr. Coomer. I just ate Dr. Coomer for health. Wow, I haven't used that intro for a while. This video doesn't have a sponsor, but I will give a quick thanks to my YouTube members. They get to see my videos at least a week early. I'm always a week ahead of time, so I don't have to crunch. If you want to become a member, it's right down next to the subscribe button, and I keep it fairly cheap. Or if you just want to subscribe, that also helps me. So what is Devilated? Well, I actually got emailed about this game well over a year ago. That email came from the dev, and the game did look interesting, at least, so I told him, yeah, I'll go ahead and play this, but I had so many other games on my plate that it just wasn't on my mind. It was on the backlog. I am sorry, Trunks. I promise you I did not mean to wait over a year to do this. But the game is fully out and no longer in early access now, so maybe it worked out. Yeah, you heard this right. This game is not in early access. In fact, the version it's on right now is version 1.01. And my god, there is a lot of content in this game. I mean 20 to 40 hours worth, with a new game plus mode, and an endless mode, which is just a horde mode, and even mods. You can easily jump in and out of that 20 to 40 hours, and the content is not repetitive at all. You are going to consistently see new content every single level till the end of the game. There are 30 levels and 30 different bosses. Yes, every level has a unique boss. But okay, let me take a step back. What is happening in this game? Story-wise, it's pretty direct. A company effectively let hell onto Earth.
Devilated was a coal mining and beverage company that, whether they intended to or not, opened the gate to Inferno itself.
Wow, that sounds really familiar. You are alive out of pure spite, I guess, and just killing everything. However, the tone of this game really does just feel like an edgy 15-year-old's idea of something that's very cool, and I can't tell if they're serious or that they're self-aware enough to know this is so stupidly ridiculous. I'm leaning more towards that second thing because the main voice actor is Gianni.
Fuck you and your eyebrows.
Yeah, this fits. This is the exact kind of game that Gianni would voice act for. And I don't mean in a way that he voice acts for everything, I just mean this fits his humor. Every cutscene has this same sort of energy, even the demonstration cutscenes where you unlock a new perk and the game's just telling you what it is.
Something emerges from your back, tearing through your muscles and breaking through your skin.
I almost never used this, by the way. I would frequently forget I even had it, but I do like how cool this looks. I can't imagine it's easy to show the player something on your back when you're in first person and with a narrower FOV than real life, but this is about as good as you're gonna get doing that. Also, wings are cool, no bias. As for the atmosphere when you're playing the game, it keeps that over-the-top feeling. But every level itself has its own atmosphere. It's cohesive, it's not like you're playing different games per level, but every level looks different, and this is something I really like about this game. The best way I can describe it is that every level is like a dungeon. A dungeon that is very linear that you can't get lost in, but still could explore if you wanted to. This map is really good, by the way. You can toggle the walls on and off, so it makes it really easy to figure out where you are. That said, the progression through these levels is linear, so I never had to actually open this map. I knew where I was going, and in the case where I might get lost, at that point told me where to go. In a game like this, I'm totally okay with that. I'd rather have the game just tell me where to go, because the whole point of the game is kill more enemies, not explore a massive dungeon. There is, however, secrets. I didn't find any of them, but the map will probably help you if you're looking. One thing that doesn't change between each level is the music. The music is pretty good, but to be honest, it is kind of just generic metal that would fit with what's happening in-game. It's not really a positive or a negative, it's just good metal that fits the chaos happening on screen. As for the combat itself, despite the visual clutter, the controls are pretty simple. There's no aiming down sights, there's no reloading, there's no sliding, there's no crouching, it plays like a boomer shooter. You have your typical WASD, space to jump, shift to boost, left click to shoot. The closest thing to something new is that when you right click, you will melee. you will always have a melee weapon on you, and you can swing this thing stupidly fast. As you probably also noticed, there is a combo meter on the screen. I can't tell you the ins and outs of this combo meter, it just seemed like the more damage I did, the more my rank went up. I have no idea if doing more flashy things made the number go up more, but I honestly wasn't paying attention to it. There were so many enemies on screen anyway. As you can probably figure out, this game is mostly a boomer shooter, but does take things from other genres. This is sort of a combination of a boomer shooter and a hack and slash, but it's also kind of a combination between an RPG and a looter shooter. This game does a lot of things. When you beat a boss, you get points to unlock a new perk. Some of these are very basic things like unlocking a double jump and an air dash, which I would recommend doing as soon as possible. But I'm going to focus on these sword perks for now. When you unlock these, they give you a new ability on a cooldown. If you hold down a button, you can move your mouse to that perk and then use it. One of these perks just lets you take half damage from enemies and do 50% more damage to enemies for a short period of time. Another one of these perks is just a very strong slash move. Another one of these perks allows you to put poison out, and it's really strong. You get my point. Despite Devilated wanting to do a bunch of things, the controls are very simple and so is the gameplay. Oh, also there's bullet time. I forgot to mention that. It works just like Fear, it'll recharge after time. But what about the looter shooter part? Well, you will come across random weapons in the map. But unlike Borderlands, you won't find yourself spending 90% of your time looking at menus. There are a lot of guns in this game. But when you find a certain gun model, all of that gun type is going to have the same damage, rate of fire, and range. This makes it easy to look at it at a glance and know exactly what you were looking at, so you don't have to compare stats all the time. The gun could, however, have an affix, which is pretty easy to see. These are things like when you do critical damage, you poison the enemy, or maybe this gun is explosive. That's also something that you can just see at a glance. Basically, the dev wants you to be in the game playing the game and not looking at menus. This game also has a Resident Evil style inventory system. You might spend a little bit of time here organizing this, but not much. You're not going to be able to be a pack rat and carry everything. You're not really going to want to either. I would recommend selling everything you're not using or don't want to use. Because, yeah. As for how many weapons you can carry, you have 4 slots. The first one is pistols. Most of these can be dual wielded. If you pick up a gun, start using it, and then later find that same gun, you'll just start dual wielding. This won't take up extra space in your inventory. That counts as one gun as far as space is concerned. Your second one are fully automatics, usually SMGs or assault rifles, something of the sort. The third are either magic staffs or special weapons you'll get from bosses. They're heads. Yeah, you will just carry boss heads in your backpack. These all do different things depending on what that boss did. This means that the weapon you get will be different depending on the boss you get, depending on the level you went to. And you can carry 2 different weapons in each slot. So, if you pressed one twice, you would swap to the other pistol. Oh, and you have the choice between what boss you want to fight against. Kind of. After you beat each level, you have the choice between 2 different levels. It shows you a picture and tells you the boss name. This is really cool. I was sort of leaving it up to my viewers as to which level I chose, but this is a great example of what I mean by every level looks different. And this is really important for this style of game. If every level was the same brown cave looking level, this game would just get really boring real quick. But the combination of map design being more than just a corridor, and each level looking different, and constantly getting new weapons, and enemies constantly changing, it stimulated my brain enough to where I just enjoyed the game. I wanted to keep playing it, even if I didn't understand why. Because during the whole game, there's just ridiculous stuff happening, like if you press R, you put a cigar in your mouth and then say a dumb one-liner.
I need some sleep. You all get to live just a little longer.
And the whole time you were getting completely swamped by enemies. As for the enemies, there are so many of them that there is no way I could go into all of them in detail. These enemies do have the tropes you would expect in boomer shooters. Some enemies sit off in the distance and fire projectiles at you, some rush straight at you, some have more health, so on and so forth. But they mix it up every single level. But there is one enemy that I absolutely hate. Frickin' spiders. These enemies are small and very fast. Generally, they come in groups. There was one specific boss that was pretty annoying just because the spiders were more of a threat than the damn boss. Leave me alone, let me fight the boss! I would like to say that realistically those enemies existed because you need them as a resource, but every boss basically has unlimited ammo. There is an unlimited ammo pickup that you will have to keep going back to, but you do. That said, the health pickups respawn so you may need the enemies to give yourself a little bit of health. So I should probably explain this. This game does not have a glory kill system like Doom Eternal. You don't have to stagger enemies and then hit them in some way to get health back. Instead, you eat the corpses of your enemies. Yeah, you heard that right. You pick up their corpses off the ground and eat them. God, this game is silly. As for the bosses themselves, they have a lot of variety. They are very varied as far as difficulty is concerned. They usually have multiple phases, but don't feel like a slog because you can get through them relatively quick. I really look forward to these bosses because not only were they usually fun, but it also meant it's the end of the level. I'm going to get a new experience after this level. It's going to look different, have new enemies, have new guns. And the game will always do a good job to make sure that you have full health and full ammo, and give you a shop to make sure you're completely loaded up for this boss. Oh right, there's a shop. This is pretty much as you would expect. It has weapons on rotation, you can sell stuff you don't want, or you can buy a few upgrades. For example, the ability to level up how much ammo you can carry and how many slots you have in your inventory. I would highly recommend leveling up how much ammo you can carry, because running out of ammo was a big problem for me. I really do think there needs to be some sort of way to get ammo back. If you're lucky, you can buy things to get ammo if it's on that refresh, but if you get a long time in between finding traders, you're gonna be low on ammo and might be a little screwed. I think the ability to maybe like kick to jib enemies to give yourself ammo instead of having to eat them to get health back would be beneficial. At least then you would have to decide whether you need health or ammo. A lot of the times for me, I was just running around going, give me ammo. Another criticism I have is that while most of the time I could see what was going on and follow everything, even if it doesn't look like it, there were a few times where there was so much visual clutter, I had no idea what was happening. Take this boss, for example. What the heck? I cannot see shit. Not doing any damage either. What am I shooting at? What is going on? What is happening? This is like visual vomit. Okay, there's already. Jackhammer? Did I kill it? I guess I killed it. Alright, that was certainly something. At least it should give me a good weapon, but dear God. I guess I'm just meant to spam roll? I don't know. I feel like that's not the way you're supposed to do it. But I guess it works. I still have no idea how I'm supposed to avoid this move. I still don't really know what's going on. After I beat this boss, I was unsure as to how or what happened, and that's generally not a very rewarding feeling. Like, yeah, I killed it. I don't know why. Thank God that's done. Let's go to something else instead. Yeah, this boss kind of sucks. Mainly just that green attack. Get that thing out of here. With most bosses in this game, you can shoot down projectiles or hit them. I couldn't with this attack. I still have no clue what's going on. But those are the only two complaints I have with this game. Now let's go to the thing that made me giggle like a complete idiot. The dev of this game made a mod, Blood Mesa. This is the first level of Half-Life, but it's still Devilated. Enemies have been entirely reskinned to Half-Life characters. It's Coomer. Literally, it's Coomer. Are they head crabs? The spiders are head crabs. Oh, Marines. That G-Man? It is G-Man. How fitting is it that I killed G-Man and he said, legal advice, shut the fuck up. Barney! Barney with a minigun. There's a hound eye. I'm so amused by this. Just insanely good weapons. This is like endgame stuff. Oh my God, I just realized you're Gordon Freeman. In this mod, you're fully kitted out. You're 100% leveled up, max character. This is so absurd. I really don't know what to say. I can't tell you exactly why I like this game so much. It's addicting. It's stupid. And very edgy and angsty. But somehow it captured the part of looter shooters that I enjoyed, while getting rid of the part of them I don't. First and foremost, this plays like a boomer shooter, and most of the time, you are going to be doing that kind of gameplay. Everything else adds some variety to what this game is. And you know what? I think that's why I like it so much. It has the first-person shooter combat I want, and that is the focus, but it's not repetitive. And I think I'll leave you guys with that. Buy it if you wish. I'm not getting sponsored for this video, but I would recommend. Thanks for watching this video. Check out the playlist up there full of content just like this, or the recommended video YouTube is recommending you, or subscribe if you want to see more of my stuff. I don't know when I'll see you next, but I hope you stick around.